Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and this is the next video wherein we are going to take a look on the market sentiment. So we're going to be discussing about the Nifty points, that what is the weekly's outlook and what we can expect in the next coming days. So before starting this video, I just want to say one thing which I've been thinking and which I want to share with you all. So basically, it's definitely easy after once the market is closed to say anything that this is going to happen and that's going to happen. This is my analysis and these are the points which we need to take a look. But in live market it is absolutely different, right? In live market it's hard to even think, and it's all of the analysis just completely get changed. But yes, in the aftermarket, when you do the analysis, you say the things, and if that's gonna come true, if that's gonna happen, then you say that yes, this is something which I told you, right? And this is something which you need to keep in your mind. So I would say that after market hours, everyone is an analyst, right? Everyone becomes a super trader and they just start sharing their analysis. But we are just the analyst, and we are just going to be working basis upon our predictions and basis upon the things and the rules that we have. So it's not a bad thing, I would say, but it is something. It's important to listen everyone's point, because maybe someone is going to give you some good points and someone is going to give you bad points. So it's your duty. It's your duty to just capture the good points, and basis on that you just start taking experience, and at some level you will be able to be a good trader, and basis on that you can take some good trades as well. So yeah, that's the only thing that I wanted to share. So I'm going to be just sharing my viewpoint. It's going to be your duty, it's going to be your choice if you want to take any kind of a good point or not. But yes, my job is just to share the analysis and just post it on the YouTube, so that in future as well, if I'll just come back and see the old videos, and will be able to see that how far I have reached and what is the analysis that I'm doing at that point in time and what I was doing previously. So basis on that, I will be able to analyze my performance and my knowledge as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the system, and let's firstly take a look on the weekly chart, that what exactly the Nifty is saying on the weekly chart. So as you can see that from the last 2 weeks we had seen some good big red candles, and selling was there in the market. So market started taking resistance from this particular point when we saw the green green side happening in the market. But all of a sudden the market started to fall, and there was 2 big red candles that started to happen, and market is taking the support. Market started to taking the support at some good levels, wherein we had seen some good consolidation happening in the market previously, just near to the level of 15,250 and 200. So you can see that around this level the consolidation had happened. So we can say that the market's definitely going to take some time to cross this level, because it's a good support that we can see over here around this particular point. And that's what really happened from the last 2 weeks when we were seeing the selling. Market took the pause over here, and it's not happened. It's generally, it just don't happen that market is just gonna give the movement around in a particular direction. So market just taking the halt, right? And it has made some in the last week we can see that around this consolidation level the market had really made a good green candle. So there was a little bit of buying that had also started in the market, right? We had seen some crazy movements in the last expiry as well. We had seen some crazy movements happening in the market, both in the upside and the downside. So that's what it is happening around this particular week. So this week was just completely for the people who made strangles and straddles. They must have got some really good points if they would have covered a range of even just 1,000 points, if they would have just made a strangle of 15,000 on the lower side, and from the upper side 16,000. They must have got some really good points and have some good amount of good profits. So yeah, that was the outlook in the last week. So what we can expect in the coming week. So market has taken a pause, and what we can see is that we can just make a range over here, and basis on that we can expect if the market is going to cross that level either from the upper side or from the downside, we can expect either side of the movement, right? So from the upper side, if we will have to say on the weekly chart, we can say that this was the consolidation level. This is the good consolidation range that had happened in the market. And talking about the upper levels, we can say that if the market is gonna 15,800 to 50 to 900. So this is the range which I've been thinking. If the market is gonna cross this particular level above, if it's going to start giving the closing above 15,900, then we can say a little bit of pullback once again is going to come, and there is a little bit of buying that's going to come. And who knows that, you know, if the market's going to start taking the reversal, but I don't think that it's going to happen, because the overall sentiment of the market is still on the negative side. So if that's going to happen, it's going to start moving on the upper side, then we need to be a little bit cautious that, you know, who knows, it's going to take the reversal once again and starts to move on the downside. Because if you will take a look over here, it's continuously making the lower lows and lower highs. So you can see the downside is still there. There is a little bit of channel. If we have to make forcefully, then you can say that the downside movement is still there, right? So who knows if it's gonna go a little bit up, and it's going to take the resistance from this point of 16,000 and 16,100 and going to come back once again to the levels of 15,000. So that means it's going to happen. So if we will see that there is a buying coming in, we need to be cautious, and we should trade with little capital, not forcefully. We cannot go for the aggressive buying as of now, because the overall sentiment is negative. But talking about the downside, I can say that a little bit of aggressive selling we can go for if the market's going to start giving the closing below the level of 15,200 and 250, because you can see that if the market's going to come to the level of 15,200, we can say this consolidation range is going to get over. And also talking about the 5250, the latest low which has been made, it is also going to get crossed, right? It is also going to get broke. So we can say that little bit of selling, it's definitely going to come, and we can take some, you know, aggressive selling as well. We can short all the calls around this particular level of 15,700, 800. These are the calls that can be shorted if the market's going to give the closing below this level. So that's going to just cross, you know, the lowest low over here, this around the level of 15,200, right? So that's it. That is something which can be done if the market's going to give the closing below 15,200. This is my inference. This is my outlook, which I have been thinking. And talking about this particular level, which is going to act as a good support, I don't think so. If the 200 is going to cross, we can expect the level of 15,000 to come in this coming week. If that's going to happen, if it starts going to give some, you know, the closing around these particular levels. So that's what the inference that I've been taking, and that's what the outlook which I've been thinking of basis upon the weekly chart. And talking about the last Friday, so the last Friday, I would say there was just a consolidation that was happening. There was not even a movement of, you know, more than 50 or 60 points on either side. So the market basically, let me just take a look. Let's just open the day's chart over here first, and basis on that, we will try to understand where the opening was, and basis on that, where the market had moved. So this is the day's chart over here. You can see that it's just a small candle which has been made, the very last candle which was made. So market would basically open at the price of 15,657. So if anyone who would have made a straddle around this particular level, 15,650, they must have got some really good profits, even if just the decay, if we'll have to talk about, or also if the moment has to be captured. The Friday was just a day for the people who made the straddle. So market opened around the price of 15,650, somewhere around 657. So just made a high of 15,749, and talking about the lowest point which was made 690. So we can say that it was not even a range of, you know, it was not even a range of more than plus minus 70 points. So yes, plus minus 70 points movement is definitely a good movement, and that is actually a movement for the people who make strangles or straddles. So you know, I generally prefer doing that, just the straddle or strangle, but it is hard to predict, right? Because it was you know, just moving around the ranges of where we had seen some good sellings or buying coming in. So it was really hard to predict at that point in time, because I was trying to capture the movement that's going to start for the selling side, because, you know, it was moving around this particular range. As you can see that the level of 15,700 is the point wherein we had seen some selling happening in the market in the previous days. So I was expecting the same thing to happen. Just I was trying to capture, like, you know, 50, 60 or 100 points, but that did not really happen. Even I started taking the position around the level when it started giving, you know, this price action. So when it was moving around this way, it reached this particular point, and I actually shorted the calls from the upper side. So, it started falling down and started to come to the level of 15,630. But actually, just this consolidation got started. So I was thinking that it's not going to happen. It's not making a good price action. So that's the reason I just exited my position. Though I exited my position on the greener side, but it was not a good profit. It's just like, 1-2 points that I captured. So I was expecting some good selling to happen, but that did not really happen. So that's the reason I just exited my position. Because on Friday as well, if you will see, the decay was very small. The decay was not going on the larger scale, and that's the reason I was not able to capture some good points. And also talking about the movement, it was very slow. The market's movement was very slow. And talking about the overall movement, it was just the consolidation that had happened on Friday. So that's the reason I was not in a mood of taking a trade on Friday, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. That was the overall movement of the Friday. It's just the consolidation had happened, and it all depends, right? Talking about the SGX Nifty, it is closing at a good level. It has closed on Friday at the level of 15,859. So we can expect a little bit of gap up opening, but I don't think that's going to happen, because we will also have to take a look where the SGX is going to open in the morning. So that's what it's going to conclude, that where the market is going to open. So I've been thinking the market is not going to open just above these levels, but who knows what's going to happen. So opening, it all depends upon the opening where the market's going to open. What I've been thinking that if this level is going to get crossed, just the level of around, more than 15,900 or 15,850, if we will see that kind of an opening, we can expect a little bit of buying gonna come once again if we see any kind of a price action happening on the upper levels. But if the market's gonna open around this particular level or maybe on the downside, we can just be ready for the selling to happen once again. And maybe in this week we can expect the level of 15,000 to come once again, and the market's going to move just below the level of 15,500 once again. So that's what we are thinking, because the pause which the market had to take has already been done in this week. So we can expect a little bit of one side movement to come in this particular week. So yeah, that's what the inference, that's what the outlook that I've been thinking for this particular week. And let's go for the heat map. So talking about the trades and the stocks on Friday, everything was in green. Just the IT sector was a little bit down on Friday. Let me show you the screenshot. Okay, so this is a screenshot. As you can see that it was just the IT sector that was hit by 0.89%, and it was on the right side. Talking about the other sectors, all of the sectors were on the greener side. So metal was performing good. Talking about the auto sector is also performing good. So yeah, you can also see on the heat map. This is the Nifty's heat map. Everything is on the greener side. Just the IT sector was hit by some percentage. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And let's take a look on the FYERS data. FYERS data is also saying that the net buying done by the DIs was 2,213. And talking about the selling, it actually dominates. FI selling was just a little low, more. It's just a little more than the DIs buying. So overall, net to net, it was on the selling side. So selling side was not that much high. So that's the reason just the consolidation had happened, because most of the sectors were on the greener side. Nifty was also on the greener side. It was good 1.45% green. So that's the reason overall things were going on the good side. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's hope this week is going to be good for everyone, and we can expect some good trades to take, and let's just hope for the best. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it from my side. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you for your time. See you next time. Goodbye.